우리가 알아야 될 중요한 하나님의 방법.
This is God's method, which is something very important that we must be aware of.
이걸 알면 25응답을 받습니다.
If we know God's method, we can receive 25-hour answers.
굉장히 중요하죠.
So that's very important.
오래전에 그 부산에서 그 임마누엘 교회 예배 드릴 때 자꾸 누가 성도님들 가방을 훔쳐가요.
It was a long time ago, but at Emmanuel Busan Church, whenever we were gathered giving worship, there was somebody who would come and steal our believers' bags.
그렇게 보고 있다가 이제 저 가방이 좀 좋은 가방이다 할 때는 아마 좀 돈이 있을 거다 생각을 하고 기도할 때 갖고 가는 거예요.
And I think it was because they were looking around, and whenever they saw an expensive bag, they assumed that there would be a lot of money inside, and so whenever people were praying, somebody would come and steal it.
그리고 그런 일이 계속 일어나는 거예요.
And that continued to happen.
그래서 이제 부산에서 이 도둑놈이 있구나 하는 걸 이제 알은 거죠.
And that's when we became aware of the fact that there was a thief.
그래가지고 이제 우리 카메라 방송 있잖아요. 방송 갖고 잡았어요.
And so we have our cameras in place, and we were using that to catch that thief.
잡고 보니까 어린 아이예요.
And after catching the thief, we realized it was just a young child.
그래서 아마 이제 뭐 책망도 하고 그래 했겠죠.
And so I think that they rebuked the child.
그때부터 이제 가방을 안 훔쳐가.
But after then, we didn't see any of the bags being stolen.
또 이제 보면 그 길 올라오는 길에 이 숲산이 좋으니까 자꾸 이게 저 이상한 나쁜 놈들이 숨어 있는 거예요.
And as you know, if you've been there at Emmanuel Busan Church, the path towards the church is a wooded path, and because there's lots of places to hide, a lot of criminals were hiding there.
그래서 제가 지시해가지고 무조건 잣나무 풀 다 깎고 전기 불 다 달아라 이랬어요.
And so I instructed the church officials to go and just cut down all the wooded areas, cut down all the weeds and the trees and the plants, and then also to put up lights there.
그랬더니 이상한 사람이 단 한 명도 없어요.
And once that happened, all those strange characters disappeared.
모르면요 도둑놈들이 자꾸 와.
If you're not aware of what's happening, then these thieves will continue to come.
아는 순간 그때부터 안 오는 겁니다.
But the moment you realize they're doing, they'll come no longer.
무슨 말이냐?
What am I trying to say?
하나님의 방법을 왜 우리에게 주셨는가 알아야 되거든요.
We need to be aware of the fact why God has given us His method.
성경에만 있어요.
It's recorded only in the Bible.
성경에만 있으니까 다른 사람들이 모르죠.
And of course, people don't know this because it's only recorded in the scriptures.
그 이제 대학에서는 못 가르치니까 대학을 졸업했는데도 영적 문제 해결이 안 돼.
This is something that is not taught in the universities, and that's why even after graduating from college, you cannot resolve your spiritual problems.
세 가지 아닙니까?
It's three things.
에덴 동산에서 사단이 인간을 완전히 무너뜨린 겁니다.
The first is this. In the Garden of Eden, Satan came to prey upon mankind to completely destroy them.
사단의 방법.
This is Satan's method.
아무 책에도 없어요. 성경에만 있어요.
It's not recorded in any other book. It's only recorded in the Bible.
요게 창세기 3장 4절 5절입니다.
And this is Genesis 3, verses 4 to 5.
인간은 나밖에 모른다는 걸 알고 탁 와서 이 먹으면 네가 하나님처럼 되는 거야. 이렇게.
Satan, aware of the fact that humankind only knows about themselves, came and tempted them, saying, if you eat of this, you'll become like God.
그러고 노아 홍수 시대죠. 네피림 사건.
And in the age of Noah and the flood, number 2 is the incident of the Nephilim.
사단이 잘 알고 인간은 나밖에 모르고 내 것밖에 몰라. 그걸 알고는 공격을 한 겁니다.
And Satan attacked this area because he knew all too well that people only care about themselves and only care about the things that belong to them.
그러니까 본인도 모르게 사단에게 잡혀버린 거예요. 본인이 몰라.
And that's what unbeknownst to them. In other words, because they themselves are completely unaware of it, they become seized by Satan.
많은 사람들이 종교생활, 우상숭배 이런 게 하면 귀신 들린다는 걸 몰라요.
And many people, they don't understand that they'll be completely captured by the demons when they engage in religious living and idol worship.
아주 일본에 수상도 몰라. 뭘 만들어 놓고 계속 절하면 그 동네는 귀신 동네 된다는 것을 몰라.
And even the prime
성경에만
minister
있으니까.
of Japan and these elected officials don't know that if you raise up these shrines and these temples and you continue to bow down before it, then the demons and the evil spirits will be at work. It's only recorded in the
여러분
Bible.
그 무당이 틀린 게 아닙니다. 무당 그 두드리면요 귀신 와요.
The shamans and fortune tellers, they're not wrong. When they, perform these rituals, the evil spirits will come.
그걸 보고 네피림 사건이라 합니다.
And that is what we refer to as the incident of the Nephilim.
세 번째 게 뭡니까?
And what is the third?
바벨탑 사건.
It's a Tower of Babel.
사람은요, 막 내 이름이 나면 힘이 생겨.
People are so invigorated and strengthened when their name becomes known.
아무 이익도 없는데 힘이 생겨.
Even though it's of no profit to them, they
누가
are
나를
so strengthened by
알아주면
that.
너무 좋아.
They receive recognition and they are
그렇죠.
so gladdened by that.
뭐 틀리든 말든 누가 알아주면 너무 좋아.
Whether it's right or wrong, it doesn't matter as long as somebody else recognizes you.
내가 옳은 일을 했는데 누가 안 알아준다. 기분 나빠.
You've done something well and nobody recognizes you, then you'll be offended by that.
요걸 사탄이 알고 공격을 한 겁니다.
But Satan, knowing this full well, attacked that.
우리가 힘을 합쳐서 우리의 이름을 내자.
Let's gather our strength together and let's make a name for ourselves, they say.
그게 바벨탑입니다.
And that is a Tower of Babel.
완전히 무너졌죠.
And it completely was destroyed, Genesis 11.
이것 때문에 세계 문제가 왔잖아요.
And because of this, all the destruction ensued upon the earth.
요걸 지금 사단이 지금도 계속하고 있습니다.
Even now, Satan's method is ongoing.
그래서 지구는 자꾸 날이 갈수록 어려운 겁니다.
And that's why the days go by, there are even more difficulties that plow into the
과학이
world.
발전할수록 어려워요.
As much as science advances, the more
그래서
difficult becomes.
하나님이 하나님의 방법을 주신 겁니다.
And that is the reason why God has given us His method.
그 하나님의 방법이 그리스도입니다.
And God's method is the Christ.
빨리 캐치를 해야 돼요.
You need to catch on to this quickly.
이러면 딱 불사 이러면 아니까 흑하면 도망가게 돼 있잖아요.
Now, because you're aware of this, the forces of darkness have no choice but
아이고
to
나는
flee.
도망 안 가던데요. 걱정하지 마세요. 다른 응답 와요.
And you might think the darkness still resides upon you. It doesn't matter. Different answers will come upon you.
사람들 진짜 뭘 잘 모르고 있거든요. 나는 왜 기도하는데 안 났습니까? 바울이 안 났잖아요.
People are unaware of this. Many people say, but I'm sick and I pray and it's not being cured. The same thing happened for Paul as
아이고
well.
능력이 없어 그러냐. 바울은 다른 사람 고쳤잖아요.
But maybe it's because I'm
능력이잖아요.
powerless. And we see that Paul went out and he healed
자기는 안 나.
others. But he himself was not healed.
그것 때문에 바울은 세계복음화는 눈을 뜬 겁니다.
But it was because of that
그렇죠?
very reason why Paul opened his eyes to see world
안
evangelization.
된다는 게 없어.
It's not
우리는
impossible. It's
하나님
not
안에
that it's not
자이기
working.
때문에 놓치면 안 돼요.
Because you're children of God, you must not lose hold of this.
이거는 여러분을 따라다니도 상관없어요. 이제는요. 구원받았기 때문에.
Even if these things continue to chase you around, it has nothing to do with you. Why? Because you are saved.
하나님의 아들 그리스도께서 오신 것은 마귀의 일을 멸하려 했습니다.
1 John 3:8, the reason why the Son of God appeared was to destroy the works of the devil.
여기서 빠져나와야 되니까 나는 길이요 진리요 생명이다.
We need to come out from within this. And that's
빠져나와야
why
되니까.
John 14:6 says, I am the way and the truth and the life. Because we need to come
자,
out.
이런 말 누가 알아듣겠어요? 못 알아듣습니다.
Who can understand these words? No one can.
여러분 알아들어야 돼요.
But you must
이거
understand.
못 알아들으니까 맨날 신앙생활이 안 돼.
But because we don't understand, that's why we cannot live our walk
안타까워요.
of faith properly. It's very
그럼 뭐 교인들
frustrating.
고민하는 거 똑같은 거 맨날.
And we see that believers are constantly worried and concerned about the exact same thing all the time.
왜 저 정신병이라면 똑같은 말 계속 하잖아요. 똑같아.
And you see that people with a lot of mental disorders, one of their symptoms is they keep
야
saying the
누가
same thing
듣고
over
말이야
and over
누가
again.
듣고 말이야. 그거 다 헛소리입니다.
People are
그렇잖아요.
like that, they're like this, and they speak ill about others. All of that is nonsensical words.
여러분이 여기서 빠져나와 버리는데 뭐 상관없어요.
You just need to come out from inside of this. It has nothing to do with you any longer.
이게 그동안에 우리를 재앙으로 몰아가는 걸 만들어놨단 말이에요. 거기서 모든 재앙을 없애는 대속물로 오셨다.
And these things continue to drive us deeper into curses and disasters, but no longer. Why? Mark 10:45, He died as a ransom for many to eradicate all of our curses.
이게 하나님의 방법입니다.
This is God's method.
우리 중직자분들 잘 아시면요. 만나는 사람에게 진짜 답 줄 수 있어요.
Church officers, if you're aware of this, you can give the proper and true answer to all those with whom you
이거
meet.
모르면 진짜 답 줄 수 없어요. 교회 100년 다녀도 소용없어요.
But if you don't know this, then you cannot give the answer. Even if you go to church 100 years, it doesn't matter.
그리고 이거 아는 사람은 응답 온 것도 괜찮고 안 온 것도 괜찮아요.
But if you're aware of this, if answers come, it's fine. If they don't come, it's fine.
그러니까 이걸 진짜 아는 사람은 오히려 반대 얘기했다니까요. 성경 크로스배 그랬잖아요.
And if you know this, perhaps you could even speak words from a different perspective. That's what Crosby
아,
confessed.
나는 이제 눈 안 열리도 좋아.
Fanny Crosby instead said, if I cannot open my eyes, it's fine.
이게 못 말려. 나는 전 내 기도 제목이 눈 열어 보는 거야.
And you can't block that. She before prayed that her eyes would be open to see.
이제는 아니야.
But now she said, it
안
doesn't
봐도
matter
돼.
any longer. I don't have to see.
이때부터 나온 메시지들이 세계를 움직이는 메시지가 나온 겁니다.
And the message that came out at that time were worthy to change the entire world.
그래서 나온 이 글들이 말이요. 메마른 땅을 종일 걸어가도 나는 피곤치 아니합니다.
And that's why she was able to pen these words that later became the lyrics to these hymns, that even though I walk
다 크로스비 노래요. 나의 갈 길 다 가도록 예수님이 인도하시니까
through the dry land all day long, I shall not be tired, and the Lord will
더
lead me
이상
all
볼
my
필요가
path.
없다.
She said, no longer do I have to see.
진짜 깨달아 버린 거예요.
She truly realized.
그래서 아마 이 크로스비 노래는 지구 없어질 때까지는 안 없어질 겁니다.
And I think that Crosby's hymns will continue to be sung until this
우리는
earth disappears.
자꾸 기준이 챙기 먹는 것만 응답인 줄 알아.
But for us, we think
아닙니다.
that our sole standard is if we can make enough to make a living, that's enough for us. We think
그게
that's the
이제
answer.
이제 쉽게 말하면 우리 옛날에 가난하게 사니까 이제 건성이 이제 거지 건성이래. 거지 건성 거지들은 무조건 이따 얻어 먹어야 되잖아요.
And that's a very
그렇잖아요.
slave mentality, perhaps because we lived in times that were very impoverished. You only search for food, just
신앙생활
enough to
그래
make a
한다니까.
living. We can't live our walk of
응답
faith
안
that
와도
way.
괜찮아요.
It doesn't matter if we cannot receive those kinds of
여러분이
answers.
지금 하나님의 언약 속에 계신 거 이게 응답이에요.
The fact that you yourselves
그렇죠.
are within God's covenant right now, that is the answer.
여러분이 있다는 거 그게 우린 축복이요.
The fact that you exist,
그렇잖아요.
that is our blessing, is it
나는
not?
여러분 생각하고 장로님들 생각하고 기도하면요. 여러분이 계시다는 게 내게 축복이요.
I think of you, I reflect on our elders. The fact that you exist itself is my blessing.
이번에는 우리 바누아투 국회의장님이 심장급 발견에 완전 치료를 다 했어요.
And this time, the parliamentary leader of Vanuatu was able to receive an operation and receive
나는
treatment.
어떤 생각이 드느냐. 그 지역 나라 살려야 되잖아요. 원래 그 복음을 하시려고 하나님이 너무 축복된 사람을 준비한 거예요.
And I thought to myself, in seeing all of this,
그렇죠.
God has blessed this individual so much. He has blessed him because he needs to save that region in this world.
하필이면 이번에 우리나라가 이제 눈치채가지고 막 국회의장 찾아오고 우리나라가 이제 눈치챈 거예요.
And our country is a little bit late, but all of our government
중요합니다.
officials finally opened their eyes to see the importance of Vanuatu. They were all coming to meet with him,
난리 났어요.
and everybody was clamoring to see him.
이번에 우리가 병원비도 다 하려고 했는데 자기들 와서 하겠다는 거. 하세요.
And given his importance, we wanted to pay all his medical expenses, but our government officials insisted that they actually pay that.
비서실 그런 얘기 했죠. 안 해줘도 되지만 해주면 고맙다 그래서
And I said to my secretaries, they don't have to, but if they insist, of course.
그런 게 중요한 거 아니니까요.
Because those things are not what's most important.
이제 저분이 살아난 게 중요한 거예요.
The fact that he is alive and well, that
왜?
is the blessing.
14개 섬나라 살려야 돼요.
Why? Because he has the mission to save the 14 island countries.
그 왜 그러면 우리나라가 지금 대통령하고 막 시에서 난리 나고 왜 저분 찾아와 그렇게 하느냐? 중요한 게 있어요.
And why is it then that our president, all of our municipal leaders, all of our city officials are so concerned about his well-being? Because this Vanuatu plays such an important role.
우리나라가 그 엑스포 유치하는데 돈 굉장히 많이 쓰는 사우디아라비아하고 붙었어요.
And as you know, we have the upcoming Busan Expo. We're trying to host the expo, but right now we're in the finals with Saudi Arabia that has a lot of wealth to spend.
11월 달에 투표합니다. 유엔에서.
And at the UN, where
한국이 할 거냐, 사우디 할 거냐.
the member states have to now give their votes to decide whether who will host the expo, whether it be Korea or Saudi Arabia.
다른 나라들은 전부 꼼수이기 때문에 안 바뀌어.
And other countries, they all have their own political calculations, and so they can't change their mind.
그러니까 순수한 나라 14개 나라 있다는 이게 오세아니아예요.
But we have the 14 island countries and also Oceania. They don't have those kinds of different political calculations.
이제 눈치채갖고요. 막 이렇게 하고 있습니다. 항상 사람들이 이렇게 뒷북을 쳐요. 이렇게.
And when I saw this, I thought to myself, you know, our government officials, our elected officials, they're always a step behind.
우리는 그런 것 때문이 아니고 저분들이 14개 나라의 복음화에 귀중하게 쓰임 받도록 하나님이 준비하셨기 때문에 이때 저때 하나님이 응답하시는 거예요.
And for us, we don't have those kinds of different political calculations. We understand very well that God has an important plan to raise up these kinds of blessed individuals to save the 14 island countries of
너무
Oceania.
감사하죠. 완전히 하나님 인도지고 응답이죠. 그렇잖아요.
And that's why we believe that everything that happens is within God's blessing, is within His answer.
뭐 이걸로 끝입니다.
And with this, it's finished.
그래서 하나님의 방법이 그리스도인데 오늘 어떻게 나와 있냐? 우리는 이걸 해결할 수 없어요.
Again, God's method is the Christ. We must realize that this is a problem that we cannot
원죄.
solve. The original sin.
이것 때문에 나오는 행동이 있다니까 자범죄.
And there are actions that come out as a result
해결
of this
못해요.
are consequential sins. We can't solve that.
그거 해결하는 그리스도.
But He is the Christ who solved that problem.
엄청나죠.
So how amazing is
우리는
that?
이 흑암에서 나올 수도 없어요.
We can't even come out on our own from this darkness.
구원받아야 나오니까 못 나온다 이게.
We have to be saved. We cannot come out on our own.
그래서 하나님이 그리스도를 보내서 이걸 부수고 뽑아내는 거예요.
And that's why God sent the Christ to completely destroy this and bring us out.
이것을 약속인 걸 보고 구약이라고 합니다.
And this as a promise is what we call the Old Testament.
약속만 붙잡았는데도 역사 나잖아요.
By just holding onto the promise alone, the works arose.
이 약속이 성취된 것을 기록한 걸 보고 신약 성경이에요.
And a record of how this promise was fulfilled and accomplished is the New Testament.
그래서 이 여기서 12가지 문제 나왔잖아요. 그걸 다 끝내버려요.
And the 12 problems result from this, but He completely brought an end to all of that.
그러면 첫째, 그리스도를 알고 믿는 겁니다.
Then the main message
모르고
it is
믿으면 안 되잖아요.
knowing Christ and believing in Him.
누가는 여러분 집에 벨 누르면 무조건 문 열어줍니까?
If somebody comes and rings the
아니잖아요.
doorbell at your house, do you just open the door without looking to see
누가
who it
왔지?
is?
보고 이상하게 생긴 사람이라 안 연다는 게 그렇죠.
You look to see who it is, and then if it's somebody strange that you don't recognize, you don't open the door.
알고 믿는 겁니다.
You need to know this and you need to believe it.
여러분의 가문의 문제까지 해결하신 영세전 그리스도.
He is a Christ from long ages past who has even solved your family line
그냥 말이
problems.
아닙니다.
It's
가문의
not
문제가 내게 온다니까요. 끝낸 겁니다.
These are not your simple words. The problems of your family line will be passed on to you, but this has been brought to an
나를
end.
구원하신 성육신하신 그리스도.
He is Christ incarnate who has saved
그래서
me.
우리가 영접이란 말을 쓰는 겁니다.
And that is why we use the word acceptance.
지금 예수 그리스도로 기도하는데 흑암이 무너져요.
Right now, at this very moment, we pray in the name of Jesus Christ and the forces of darkness are crumbled down.
부활하신 그리스도.
The resurrected Christ.
지금 그 이름을 기도하면 사단이 벌벌 떤다니까요.
We use that name even now and Satan will tremble in fear.
우리는 미래 걱정까지 하는데 그런 게 하고 그까지 끝냈어요.
And we have concerns about the future, but He even brought an end to all of our future problems as well.
재림주 그리스도.
He is the Christ of the Advent.
여러분의 배경은 절대 바뀌지 않습니다.
Your background will never change.
심판주 그리스도.
And He is Christ who is the Lord of
그거
the
완전히
judgment.
해결하러 오신다니까요.
He came to completely eradicate all of that.
그래서 아무리 착해도 사단의 자녀는 지옥 가야 돼요.
No matter how good of a person
그렇죠.
you
어쩔 수가
are,
없어요.
if you're a child of the devil, you have no choice but to go to hell.
사단의 백성이 천국 갈 수 있는 비자를 안 내죠.
There's no visa in the world that will allow a person that belongs to Satan to go to heaven.
자, 그러면 이 축복이 그냥 믿고 있는 믿으면 이제 어떻게 됩니까?
Then we believe in this blessing. What happens when you believe it?
나에게 이 발판이 딱 되는 거예요.
It now becomes your footstool, your foundation.
그러니까 뭐 전도 열매도 일어나기 시작하죠.
And that's why then the fruits of evangelism begin to bear.
성경 구절 하나만 봅시다.
Let's just look at one Bible verse together.
나를 따라오너라.
Matthew 4:19, come follow me,
내가 너희로 사람을 낚는 어부가 되게 하리라.
and I will make you fishers of men.
나머지는 성경 구절 구역 한번 보세요.
The rest of the Bible verses you can refer to at a later time.
그래서 우리는 아무리 해도 안 되던 게요. 창세기 11장 1절에서 10절에 보면 아브라함이 아무리 하나님을 믿고 몸으로 해서도 안 돼.
And no matter how hard we try, it just doesn't work. In Genesis 12, we see no matter how hard Abraham tried, he just simply could not carry it out.
어느 날 깨달아 버려서 내가 여기 있다는 거를.
But one day he realizes, this is where I was situated.
그때부터 역사가 시작된 거죠.
Genesis 13, from that moment on, after that realization is when the works begin to
그렇게
arise.
그때부터 단을 쌓기 시작한 거죠.
Because from that moment on, he builds an altar before the Lord.
그러고 뭡니까?
And what else?
그때부터 이제는 항상 나를 따라다니는 오직 이 사도행전 5장 1절 10절 아나니아 삽비라 같은 이 불신앙이요 싹 무너져 버려요.
Acts 5:1-5, we see just like Ananias,
우리
fear
이래
of
삽니다.
unbelief continues to chase after us, but now we can bring an end to that.
아나니아 삽비라가 그냥 뭐 헌금 때문에 그 사고 난 건데 근본 따지면 그게 아니에요.
And Ananias and Sapphira, it may appear as though, off glance, that at first glance, that it was just because of their offering that they had
그
this kind of,
중요한 시간표 이거는 완전히 사람 앞에 사다가 사단에게 당해버린 거예요.
that they faced its demise, but it goes deeper than that. They stood before people and they were completely seized by Satan.
그래서 완전히 이 초대교회에 빠져나오면 이런 축복을 보게 돼요.
And that's why then you'll be able to see the blessing of you completely coming out from inside of this.
드디어 이게 조금 있으면 어느 날 체질이 딱 돼버려요.
And then one day you'll find
그리스도인의 이 체질이 돼버리면 이때부터 정복이 시작되는 거예요.
that this has become your very nature. And from that point on, the works of conquest arise.
저 사람은 이제 믿음이 없냐 그게 아니고 아직 체질이
And
안 돼.
you might say, why does that person lack faith? It's not that.
낙심할 일이 아니고 빨리빨리 바꿔야 되죠.
It has not yet become their nature. You
그래서
don't need to fall
판단할
into
일이 아니고
despair.
기다려줘야 돼.
All you need to do is just wait a little bit and bear and be patient.
아니 평생 이래 살다가 어느 날 교회 왔는데 막 갑자기 이게 없어진다. 끝났는데도 이거 체질이다.
People live their entire lives inside of this, and of course when they come to church, it's been brought to an end, but you don't transform overnight. It takes time, and it needs to become your nature.
그러니까 어떤 일이 벌어집니까?
And then what will happen when this does become your nature?
이 창세기 3장 15절 처음부터 언약 줬는데 이게 어느 날 체질이 된 게 이 보세요.
Genesis 3:15, from the very beginning, this covenant has been given to us.
창세기 22장 1절에서 20절 아시죠?
You know Genesis 22:1-20, the contents of that?
언약을 아무리 얘기해도 모르고 있다가 어느 날 하나님 사건을 만들었지요.
No matter how much he continued to emphasize the covenant, they just could not understand. But one day, God brings about an incident.
이삭을 저 산에 데려가서 제물로 드리라.
He commands and instructs Abraham to take Isaac, his son, and sacrifice him
이제
upon
큰일
Mount
났죠.
Moriah. And so he's in big trouble now.
아브라함도 기가 차고 이삭도 기가 찰 일이요.
Abraham is shocked by these words. Same with Isaac as well.
그때 수양을 좀 양을
But at that time, God prepares a ram in his stead.
완전히 이삭이요. 완전히 충격 먹다 살은 거예요.
So Isaac, he was completely shocked, but he's again revived.
여러분 죽다 살아 보세요. 아 잊어먹습니다.
If you have a
그렇죠.
near-death experience, you'll never forget it.
이삭이 확실한 복음 체질 딱 돼요.
In the same way, we see that Isaac was equipped with this sure nature of the gospel.
그때부터 농사를 지었더니 100년께 나오고요.
From that moment on, he farmed and he was able
샘을
to reap
뺏겼더니 샘 근원이 나타나.
100 years of crops. He had all of his wells taken away from him, but then he found this
어려움
spring.
당하니까 로봇의 축복이 있나.
And when he was faced with the hardship, he received the blessing of Rehoboth.
왜 그렇습니까?
Why?
그래야 세계복음화지.
Because only then could he do world evangelization. That's why.
꼭 언약 잡으세요.
So you need to hold on to the covenant.
내가 겨우겨우 밥 먹기 힘든데 어떻게 세계복음을 합니까?
You might say, oh,
그렇잖아요.
I'm barely making a living. How can we
하고
do World
싶지만 안
Evangelization?
되지.
With that, it's not enough.
당연히 이 축복이 와 있는데 우리 이걸 놓쳐가고 그런 거죠.
This blessing has rightfully come upon us, but we keep losing hold of it.
그냥 그 시간 없으니까.
So I'll go through this quickly because we don't have very much time.
모세가 알고 있었어요. 그러나 어느 호라산에서 딱 체험하게 돼요.
Exodus 3:18. Yes, Moses did know this, but finally on Mount Horeb he experiences it.
자, 이때부터
It is from that moment
애굽의 흑암이 무너지기 시작합니다.
that all the forces of
걱정하지
darkness in
마세요.
Egypt begin to break down.
이사야 7장 14절.
Isaiah 7:14.
완전 멸망될 때 임마누엘의 축복을 주겠다.
They were in sight of complete destruction, and God promised them
뭡니까?
the blessing of Emmanuel.
처녀가 잉태하여 아들 낳을 것이다.
The virgin will be a child and will give birth to a
그
son.
믿으라. 그 이름을 임마누엘 하라.
Believe it, and you shall call him Emmanuel.
쉽게 말하면 사람의 후손은 아닌 그리스도 와서 흑암의 모든 것을 깰 것이라 믿으라.
In other words, he is not the son of man, he's the son of God, and he will come to completely destroy all the things of the darkness.
한 명만 예를 들겠습니다.
I'll give one example.
이 언약을 믿은 인물 여러 명 있죠. 그 중에 한 명이 다니엘입니다.
There are many figures of faith who believe this covenant, but from among them, Daniel.
왕을 움직였다니까.
He moved the king.
그렇게 말이요. 배운 것도 없는 베드로가
Another example, Peter, we see that he was so unlearned.
주는 그리스도시요 살아있는 하나님의 아들이십니다 했는데 그걸 놓고 또 무너졌다니까.
He confessed, Lord, you are the Christ, the
그렇죠.
Son of the living God, and yet again, he wavered in his faith.
어느 날 그리스도의 언약을 말하면 마가다락방에서부터 시작해서 체험을 해버린 거예요.
But Mark's upper room, all the covenant that he experienced about Christ, he had that experience of Christ himself.
그때부터 베드로는 세계를 움직이는 힘을 하나님 주신 거예요.
And from that moment on, God granted to Peter the strength to move the world.
요즘 교황이 각 나라 다닐 때 이제 꽃가루 모자 같은 거 시고 막대기 들고 다니잖아요. 그게 베드로 모습이에요.
And as you know, these days, even
정도입니다,
now,
베드로.
we have the Pope going around traveling to different countries, and he has the customary attire as well as the scepter that he holds. That was the image and the appearance of Peter.
오늘 좀 중요하기 때문에 길게 했어요. 빨리 마치겠습니다.
This message is very important today, so I've gone a little bit over time. I'll end quickly.
그리스도는 보좌의 문을 여는 열쇠입니다.
Christ is the key that opens the door to the throne.
그냥 열쇠가 아니고 보좌의 문을 여는 열쇠.
Not just a simple key, the key that opens the door to the throne.
오늘 기도로 실험해 보세요.
May you experiment with this today through prayer.
여러분을 무너뜨리는 흑암과 저주와 재앙은 오늘 예배하는 중에 예수 그리스도 이름으로 결박받게 될 것입니다.
As you give your worship today in
그렇죠?
the name of Jesus Christ, all the darkness, the disasters, and all of the curses that befall you will be completely brought to an end.
이게 성경의 결론입니다.
That is the conclusion of the Bible.
나머지 건 이제 응답이에요.
Everything else is the answer that will
그리스도
follow.
하나님의 나라 오직 성령.
Christ, God's kingdom, and only Holy Spirit.
여러분이 어려움이 나올 때 여러분을 이해할 사람은 아무도 없습니다. 그러나 여러분은 이 열쇠로 보좌를 움직일 수 있습니다.
When you are in the throes of despair, there is no one who will understand your plight. But using this key, you can open the door to the throne.
오늘 하루 종일 이 응답 받으시기 바랍니다.
May you enjoy this blessing all day long today.
쓸데없는 거짓 신앙도 잡을 거 없어요. 예수님이 하신 말씀 붙잡아요.
Don't cling to your false faith. These are the words that Jesus spoke.
기도하겠습니다.
Let us pray.
하나님께 감사드립니다.
God, we thank you.
오늘 하루 종일 하나님의 나라 이루어지게 하옵소서.
All day long today, may your kingdom be established.
오늘 예배 참석한 한 명 때문에 그 지역과 현장과 가정과 나라가 살게 해 주옵소서.
To each and every individual that has come to participate in this worship today, may that region, their family, and the world, and this
예수 그리스도
be saved.
이름으로 기도하옵나이다.
In Jesus Christ's name we pray.
아멘.
Amen.